How's it going, guys? It's Mastermind Investor here. It's gonna be my first video. I just want to talk to you guys about today, who I am, what I'm doing, what the plans are. Basically, I have a passion for specifically precious metal investing, which I'm sure a lot of you have if you're watching this. Specifically gold and silver. And I don't have any of my gold with me today. It will be in future videos, maybe later this week or next week. I'll get it out of its hiding, locked, safe location. But the silver was on hand at the moment, and I decided I would just put this in the video for now. But basically, the majority of my videos will be about silver and gold and about investing in such items, as those are my, not to say they're the most important, but they're my favorite. They're the thing I'm most passionate about. There's nothing quite like buying physical metal like silver and like gold and actually holding your investment in your hand and keeping your investment on hand. Whereas you're not just looking at a number on a computer screen, which is the tendency of a lot of other investments. It's all about just a number that's not real. Your bank, your savings, if you're in Canada, your RRSPs, if you're in the US, your 401ks, those are things you contribute to sometimes your whole life. And people have always advised you to do so. But at the end of the day, what is that? It's a number on a computer screen, and it's there as long as it's allowed to be there. But if something were to ever go down and the bank systems were to collapse, which is an extreme situation, but possible, where does that leave you? I know you're probably thinking, well, we have more problems to worry about at that point, but you're talking about your entire life savings. If you reach 60 years old, 65 years old, and suddenly everything goes to shit, so to speak, pardon the language, but if it does, you're left with not much. You know, at that age, you're not going to start going out and living the hard life trying to get by and get some food. You want things on hand, and silver and gold provide that in extreme situations, if that's what you're worried about. But I'll get onto that after. I just want to let you guys know that I'll be doing videos on that. A lot of videos on gold, a lot of videos on silver, my purchases, my reviews, new items, deals I find, things I think are good buys, just general theories on investing. I may post some videos on certain other markets, like stock markets and such. I might. If there's something specifically quite interesting, I may throw it into the mix of a video. But for the most part, silver and gold. Well, first of all, I want to talk about something that's really important right now. It does affect all of us. It's the situation currently. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of situations, but one of them I want to talk about is the Ukraine and what's going on over there right now. I'm sure everyone's heard by now, but for those of you who have not heard, they're having a little bit of a problem over there. There was a lot of civil unrest and a lot of rioting happening, which basically led to the ousting of the government. Their prime minister or president, whatever they have, was essentially evacuated himself from the country and fled to Russia. Or I don't know where he is now. He was there at one point. That he might have come back. I'm not sure. I wasn't following to that much detail. All I know is there's something going on, and Russia essentially started by sending in unmarked troops, which have been seizing airports and political structures and such. Denied that they were Russian troops, but Putin didn't want to admit to it. So he just kept denying. But we all know they were. I mean, these guys were coming in Russian vehicles, seizing airports, government buildings, banks, systems, and they're doing it with such military precision, it's impossible. They're trying to blow it off like it was just some organization of freedom fighters in the Ukraine. With that kind of organization, it's not. We know who they are. They're now building up their forces along the side of the Ukraine, the Crimea area, and they're amassing large forces by the border, and they're doing military exercises every day, which was worrying because military exercises are a good way to put fear into your opponent, into the rest of the world, and show them your power, your strength, which is what they're doing. They're coming up and showing the world, look what we are, look what we can do. But most importantly, they're showing what the US cannot do. And that's stop them. We live in a world now where the US is losing power, and Russia is just showing it to the rest of the world. They're showing that the US is weak now. They're showing that, look, we can do whatever we want. What are they going to do? Slap our wrists? Throw some sanctions? I don't care. Like, we're talking to an ex KBG member, right? Where Putin's not just a pushover where you're going to say, hey, we'll cut off your supply of this. And yeah, you better be good. He's not going to do it. He'll fight and he'll take whatever he has to take, and he'll fight to the death to do it. And there was a time, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, if this happened, the U.S. would be right there. They'd be with force and power, and they'd be stopping this. And I'm not one for military action. I don't think it's always the best idea. And it really shouldn't be our problem. But just in regards to, it's what they used to do when they had the power, when they had the money. And the fact that we see them not doing it anymore is a little bit of a worrisome sign of they're losing power. They're losing their grip on the international community. For the better or the worse, if you live in the U.S., that's not great for you, because we all know what happens when countries show weakness. We hope things can be resolved peacefully, but unfortunately, the U.S. has amassed quite an amount of enemies worldwide over the years. And if you're up here in Canada, we kind of rely on them to protect us. They're kind of our force. They're our backbone. Unfortunately, we don't have a force of our own strong enough to defend much. What we do have, they are very well trained if you ever were to do your research into the Canadian military. But we just don't have the numbers that they have. Not even close, not even remotely close, nor the equipment, nor the money. But nonetheless, hopefully those situations get resolved peacefully. But in the meantime, what this is causing for investors, for ourselves, is basically large fluctuations in the market, in both the stock market and in both the metals market, commodities markets. We saw a huge hike just recently. Here in Canada, and the Canadian dollar was up to about 15.50, 15.60, which I think it was up to about 14 something in the US, in US dollar. And then we saw just a huge drop down. I mean, in a week, 2 weeks, it's lost about $100 as fast as it gained it. And it's crazy fluctuation. And that's basically a result of these current politics. There's a lot of issues in the Ukraine. So what's happening is a lot of the banks were attacked by cyber attacks. And in order to deal with these issues, they've also been limiting withdrawal amounts. So the Ukrainian citizens can only withdraw $1,500 a day maximum. And that's a problem, because if you're in this conflict zone, you want to up and leave, you can't, because your assets are frozen to $1,500 a day withdrawn from within the country. So you can't really just up and leave that fast unless you're willing to leave with about $1,500 in your pocket. That's where this comes in. But again, I'll get to that after. So these prices have been fluctuating because that fear, now other countries are seeing that. We're seeing that. We're seeing what can happen. A lot of people are getting scared again. Just like in 2011 to 2012, they thought the world was going to end. The precious metal prices skyrocketed. Everyone starts buying when they fear things can happen. It's also because there's a lot of gold and silver buying in the large international markets as well. We've seen China purchase they're now the number one gold buyer in the world, taking India. India is still the number one silver buyer in the world, second for gold. Between India and China, they've been buying incredible amounts of gold. I believe Russia has been as well, quietly, just as China's been doing so quietly. They're amassing large amounts of gold. I don't know if you guys know, there's a law in China that requires all gold mined from the earth must be sold directly back to the government. It has to be sold. It can be kept, hoarded, and shipped out at whatever, sold by the owner. It has to be sold back to the government. They're not selling that back to the market. Maybe small amounts. They're hoarding it. They're keeping it for themselves. And that's an indication of something. The amount of gold they're buying is incredible, and that's an indication. I believe it's an indication of the impending collapse of a lot of the currencies, primarily the US dollar. And I believe they know that, and they're positioning themselves. I believe they're the ones who will create it between them and Russia. They're setting up first a financial attack, followed by a physical attack. That's where we could be headed. But hopefully not. Hopefully things resolve in such a way. Hopefully we think we're at a time where things could be resolved peacefully, and we'll see where it goes. But that's just where we stand politically right now. But off the topic, so back to my main point of why I do these videos now that we got politics out of the way. Silver and gold. They're two great investments. I think personally one of the best you can do for yourself, for your family. They are, well, there's a few reasons why. One of them is it's a physical asset. This is no number on a computer screen. This coin is a silver 9999 pure silver coin, 1 ounce. It's worth its value. No one can shut this down for me. No one can stop me from taking my silver and upping and leaving with it. Now I have one example of a few different items here, but there's many more. There's much more where this came from, and no one's going to stop me. I have that. I can pick it up. I can take it with me and go wherever I want with it. It's mine. It's not going to be limited to $1,500 a day. It's not going to be limited to 1 bar. Can I take it on my safe a day? It's mine, and I'm going to use it and spend it and do with it what I will. The other great thing on an investment point of view is in the long run, gold and silver have proven incredible growth. You know, there was times where you could have bought gold at $400 an ounce, at $300 an ounce, at $200 an ounce. It's been there. And over the years, it's continually gone up. It goes up and down in the days, just like we've seen this week, which is crazy fluctuation. It's not normal to fluctuate this much, but it did. But even through that, at the end of the day, when you're buying metals, your best bet for investment purposes is to long term. You don't want to be just trying to buy this week and selling it next week. There's not much to be made there, you know, unless you want to be a dealer, and that's a whole other set of rules. And that's a different story. But for investment purposes, we want to long term this stuff. It doesn't matter if it goes up. If this goes up to 25 today, and then back down to 20, and then back to 22, and then to 20, and I bought it 24, it doesn't matter, because the fact of the matter is, in 10 years, it'll probably be worth 100 an ounce, for all we know now. So as a long term investment, it's not that it's going to make you a millionaire. It's not that it's going to make you these, you know, unheard of riches. What it's going to do is secure your current wealth. Okay, it's going to be worth more in the future than what you put into it today, as opposed to your $5 bill. You can keep it in a safe, and in 20 years, it'll probably be worth a lot less than what $5 bought you today. Not even hold its own value. I was going to say it'll still be $5. It won't be. $5 today can buy you a couple loaves of bread. In 10 years, it might not buy you a bubble gum. You think back to 40 years ago, you could buy 2 pieces of bubble gum for a penny. You can't do that no more. It doesn't work. Really, everything's $1 minimum, it feels like. You know, a pack of gum is like $4 now. So this protects you from that increase. If you put $100,000 in silver back at $5 an ounce, and it's at 20 to 25 today, depending where you're looking at it, in the US or here, you would have, it's incredible. It's incredible how much more this would be. It's essentially how people think of buying a house and how it'll increase in value. It's essentially like buying real estate, but without the costs of upkeep, without the property taxes, which just eat away at your growth and your profits. There's not, you can put this away and lock it away, and it's literally like buying real estate in smaller, compact form. I mean, you can hold $10,000 of gold in the palm of your hand. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And it's a great hedge against inflation ultimately. You know, the average rate of the interest rate right now in Canada is about 2.87%-ish. Okay, so every year things increase by essentially 2.8%. Your cash does not. This should do more. And a lot of your investments vary. Like if you have a lot of, let's say a lot of people buy into things such as mutual funds. That's a safe bet for a lot of safe investors want to go to a low risk mutual fund, which I don't believe in, but they want to do that. Sometimes you'll gain 3%, 4%, 5% a year, and you're happy at 4 or 5%. You're not really making 5%. You take away inflation, you gained 1% wealth that year in your whole investment. If you have a 4% return, it's useless. We don't need that. On top of that, if the market goes to shit, that investment's gone just like every other number that's on a computer screen in your bank. You know, it's a long shot. That's the extreme, but it can happen. But the bottom line still is, you know, for you who say nothing's ever going to happen bad, fine. I hope we go on in bliss forever. I love it. I'm enjoying life, and I don't want it to end the way I know it. I'm used to it, and I enjoy it. I hope it stays the same. But even if it does, great. This is worth more and more every year. I'm worth more and more every year because of this. And to me, that's just invaluable. People stack silver and gold in different ways. Some stack for the long term to just hold and keep, sell off maybe if prices get really high, or maybe just to keep to pass down to their family, just to preserve the wealth for an emergency. If the emergency never comes, they pass it on. Some people like myself, I like to save up for goals if I can. I like to put all my savings for a specific goal, such as a new house or a new car, in silver or gold. When I go to do that purchase, I cash in at a good time. I take my profits and I buy in. As I start to save more money up and the markets are good and the prices come back down, I buy more and I repeat. And it's a great way. And at the same time, you always keep your own little stash on the side for growing and saving. And it's great. As for the future of gold and silver, I think we're looking at a very bright future. I think by the end of 2014, we'll be looking at, on an extreme situation, I don't think we'll ever pass $40 an ounce this year, but we'd be very happy at $30 to $35 an ounce by the end of 2014, realistically. I know everyone's trying to say it's going to be like $1,000 an ounce. They're out of it. It's not going to be. Maybe $30, $35, $40, and that would be very satisfying. If I could see this to $40 an ounce, that'd be great. Essentially, everything I bought will be worth double the value in a year, which is 100% return on investment, which is something you don't see very often in other markets. So that would make me happy. $40 an ounce this year, I think it could get there. It may fall a little short, maybe 35. Canadian, I'm talking, so do your conversion for American. I think it'll get there. Gold, I think we'll see 2,000 an ounce this year. I think it will by the end of 2014. 2,000 an ounce is more than fair. Maybe more, maybe 21, 22. Especially with all this conflict going on. The only reason I said it went down this week is because suppression in the markets. There's a lot of paper certificates being sold off. Banks such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan are telling everyone that gold's going to shit. It's not going to go up this year. It's going to go back down to $1,000 an ounce. And they're just selling off massive amounts of paper certificates that really aren't backed in anything physical. It's probably like a 10-to-1 ratio of what they're really backing. And they're selling off these certificates to keep the price down. They're telling you it's going to go down, so you sell. So the price goes down. Well, in the meantime, they're going right behind and buying as much physical as they can. So they're telling you to sell. They're telling you it's going down. They're selling the fake paper crap. And they're going out and buying the real bar. They're buying bars. They're buying and storing bars of gold. Well, they're telling you it's no good. Look it up. Do your research. JP Morgan. Goldman Sachs. They're doing it. It's going to go up. And the moment they let go of their grasp and they can't control the suppression anymore, it's going to skyrocket. It's going to climb really fast. And that's going to be a good time that a lot of you who are stacking right now should consider liquidating. Just as it rose almost to $2,000 just a couple years ago, it went almost to $2,000. That would have been a great time to liquidate a lot of your gold that you bought at 12 or 13. Wait for the crash because it rose too quickly and buy again at the bottom. It's another great thing to do. So keep your eyes out for that increase, for that spike, and time your moves well. I think now prices are great to buy. I would buy it right now today. I would go out and buy a good amount of whatever you can, silver, gold, whatever you can buy it today. The prices are great. It just dropped. That doesn't bother me at all. Anytime the prices drop, I go buy more. It'll go up. There's no such thing as a trend of over 10 years gold going down steadily. That never happens. It may go down in little bursts, but it'll always come up. So where we stand today is get yourself some silver, get yourself some gold. The prices are great. We'll see what they are next week, but they're great right now. If you're watching this video, I highly consider you finding a local coin shop, a local bullion dealer, an online dealer such as silvergoldbull.com. Order from them, get some silver. Be careful, be wary of the eBay stuff. That's where a lot of people are scared of being scammed. That's where the scams are going to happen. Be safe with it. Buy from a reputable dealer that doesn't want to tarnish their name, that if you were to bring back a counterfeit piece, they would probably take care of it for you, as they don't want that getting out. So do that. Get that silver. Get that gold. Be confident in it. It's a great way to save for you, for your kids, for your family. You won't be let down. Do it for the long term. And we'll leave it at that for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. any comments you'd like would be great. I'll be going into individual on my next video, individual coins, ways to purchase, things that I like this beautiful Australian kookaburra, and the value of buying certain semi-numismatic items as opposed to just raw silver. Yeah, so like the video, comment on the video. I hope this wasn't too long for you guys. I'll be having another video up shortly, maybe tomorrow or the day after. And if you like it, subscribe. It'll motivate me to do more videos. I want to make sure you guys like what you're seeing. Let me know anything you want to see. I have a wide variety of products and information I can talk about. Check out my blog. It's mastermindinvestor.blogspot.com. I've also been working on that, just talking about various simple things, silver and gold. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time.